Advice to a young aspiring architect. I sometimes get young architecture students and graduates asking me for career advice. This is my response in a more general sense to a wider audience. It is based on my path, which I would say was a conservative journey to become an independent architect through hard work and perseverance. I believe the Japanese concept of ikigai sums up the best path to life fulfillment. Finding your ikigai means you have arrived at the ultimate sweet spot, balancing your skills, loves, needs, and financial requirements. I also believe that the key to finding your ikigai is grit. The grit to achieve your long-term goals towards this vision. My long-term vision was to become an independent architect, specializing in my chosen niche, practicing my passion for natural and earthen building. Architecture is a slow path. There are many skills to learn, codes and regulations to master, and trades, practices, and materials to understand. I became an independent architect at age 40. I had a few challenges along the way which slowed me down, but I would suggest you plan for 10 to 20 years post-graduation to get to this point safely. You can take shortcuts, but there are two problems with this. One, they may not work, and two, if they do work, you may not be happy, as you may not have truly earned your position. Your first step is to get a job in a practice. Ideally, this would occur whilst you are still studying to speed things up. My first proper professional job was helping a sole practitioner one day a week during my last few years at uni. He taught me basic drafting skills and the construction methodology of the typical inner city heritage housing typologies of New Zealand, that is, the Victorian villa and the Californian bungalow. In your first job, I suggest you want to learn as much as you can about drafting and construction. This may sound obvious, but many architects skip this step and focus their efforts on design and aesthetics. Whilst there is nothing wrong with this, if this is the extent of your skill set, it means you will always be reliant on others to translate your visions into coherent instructions for builders. This makes it harder to go out on your own or with partners if independence is your goal. It will be harder because with your first independent commission, you will likely need an office and a draftsperson to see it through. This translates to higher overheads, which makes the move to independence riskier. Also, builders will always think of you as someone with ideas, but no practical knowledge on how to achieve them. If you have both these things, that is, ideas and practical knowledge, to some tradespeople you may be viewed as the chief builder, which is what the original Greek term for architect meant. I suggest you want to aim for lightness and efficiency in your practice, at least at the start. This way, you can keep your fees lower than others while still allowing yourself a good margin for profit. I personally have no substantial overheads. I work from home and do practically everything myself. This helps ensure my business is stress-free and I don't have to worry about money. As you are progressing on your journey and working for others, there are a few things I suggest you do. Read widely about architecture daily. This will help you find the area you want to specialize in. Once you have determined this, focus your daily reading in this field so you can master it. The best path to self-employment in any field, in my opinion, is to become an expert in a niche that interests you. Once you master it and become a recognized expert, clients and customers will come to you. Draw daily to develop visual communication skills. This will help you see the world in more detail as an artist does, and it will hone your architectural presentation abilities. Computers are useful tools, but in my opinion, computer imagery cannot compete with competent hand drawing, both in terms of aesthetics and speed. Don't worry if you think you can't draw. Anyone can learn this skill in time with daily practice. Design pretend buildings for yourself over and over again. This will hone your design skills and help you find your style. It will also keep your independent fire alive during the long, lowly paid slog that you must endure working for others. Design and build furniture when you can. Many architecture schools have workshops, and many communities have blokes and dames sheds, so you don't necessarily need a private space nor your own tools. It is generally not an option, nor do I suggest you build your first building designs, but furniture is a lower cost, lower time commitment option to see your ideas to fruition. It will teach you about joinery, and if you can summarize your architectural philosophy down to the scale of furniture, you might be onto something good. Many of the masters did. It could be argued that the current fashion for mid-century style modernism can be traced back to the colonial American Shakers and their well-made, stripped-back utilitarian furniture. Young Danish designers such as Borg Mahegson and Hans Wegner studied these pieces and initially replicated the designs and then developed them further. Learn all about the conventional construction methods used in your country or region. You need to know how to detail them to best practice. This will become invaluable when you first venture out on your own. With this knowledge, you can become a contract draftsperson to keep the wolves at bay whilst you build your own client base. You can document other architects' designs in between your own private commissions. Learn to lower your living expenses and increase your savings. I committed to only go out on my own when I had saved at least 1 year's financial runway. You need a lot of energy to build an architecture practice, and you don't want to be stressed about money. Also, I suggest you stay out of debt unless it is for an appreciating asset and you can easily afford the repayments at much higher interest rates than you initially signed up for, with a reduced income if you fall on tough times. With most purchases, the trick is to only buy the thing when you have saved enough cash. This will help reduce stress and keep you lean, and make those things you do buy all the more sweet. So there it is in a nutshell, advice I wish someone gave me as a young architecture student. I hope it serves you well, and good luck on your journey. Remember, the harder the climb, the sweeter the view from the summit. Artists, and I would include good architects in this category, are like little plants. Some of those that suffer the most, in time, grow the brightest flowers, the strongest essence and have the most to say with their work. It will be a long, hard slog, but for those who put in the effort, you might find your ikigai and true lasting happiness.